Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Kid Ikarus, and this is my podcast. Israel Adesanya has reclaimed his belt. Jorge Masvidal has retired after a fight that made it look like maybe he didn't need to retire. And Christian Rodriguez beat the crap out of an 18-year-old boy. I'm sitting down here with Matt, and we're going to break down UFC 287. So yeah, let's jump into the main event then.
Event.
That was incredible, right?
That was great. I wasn't surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy were talking about predictions right before the fight. I mean, 5-10 minutes for the fight. I said I see Izzy with a mid-round finish. Is how I worded it. A mid-round finish. I think we talked about it a little bit last time, but okay. First one, split decision. I thought he won.
Yeah.
Second fight in kickboxing, that is.
If
it wasn't for a 10-8, I mean, if it was a different sport, he would have won. You know what I mean? It was a standing 8 count, right? So he had him rocked on his feet, and if it was MMA, Izzy would have just finished him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he gets the standing 8 count, right? Counts as a knockdown. It's a 10-8 round, but then he comes back, cleans him up,
Yeah.
And then he had him knocked down on his feet again in their third fight.
He got saved by the bell on the third fight.
So he's in lots of ways, he's almost beat this guy 4 times now, but the record shows only once.
Right at the finish line and stumbled. Yeah. Going into it, I think he was still the favorite. I think
he was a small favorite, I think.
Minus 130 or something favorite. So he was right there. It was 50-50 for the bets, but I kind of leaned towards Pereira. I thought that saying that they kept mentioning after Leon Edwards is you're
better once you're the champ.
Yeah, you're 30% better once you win the belt.
I think it's not, but that doesn't apply to him as much because he's been a champion.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean he was two weight class champion.
In glory, yep.
And
205 is his next move.
Yeah, you think so?
I have to imagine. Obviously those were clean shots, and Izzy has speed, and that equals impact power. But maybe a fresh, not losing 40 pounds in a month. Yeah, he can take that shot.
Yeah,
it has to affect the chin.
I think he must have been dropping hints about that because Dana White in the post-fight was saying it a bunch. I can't imagine that Dana was so sure without there being some hints already that he's going up. And it kind of makes sense with Teixeira retiring for him to be like, yeah, no.
And we always thought
my belt.
Adesanya was about as big and as long as you can get.
Yeah,
for middleweight,
and
this guy's obviously
bigger. Yeah, it is wild that he is so massive trying to get down to 185.
Man, and when he's walking around at 225, he still has a little 4-pack and all that. He's still only 10% body fat.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Besides that, actual knockout though, clean fight for both of them. They looked,
I think,
fantastic.
Yeah, minus the 30-60 seconds prior to the knockout. I think Adesanya was edging him, backing him up.
Yeah, how that finish. Do you think, Adesanya has said that he's playing possum?
Yeah.
Do you think he was, or do you
not
think
with the leg kicks?
Hurt?
Not with the leg kicks.
The leg kicks were definitely adding up, right?
He throws them too, right? He doesn't turn his hip much. He's square. His stance is fairly square, right? Especially for MMA. And he just flicks it.
Yeah.
Flicks it, but something about his giant 8-foot, I don't fucking know what it is.
It's them stone feet,
Man, and he lands with if this is his foot, he doesn't land here. He lands with this.
Yeah,
on the side of the calf. It's shit.
There's a part of me that thinks he got hit with that last calf kick, and he was like, I can't move anymore, so I'm just gonna lean against the fence, and we'll see what happens.
He was saying that was rope-a-dope was a possibility, a possible plan in his head.
Yeah,
and maybe he had to rush it because it might have been more of a round 4 option,
Yeah, I could see that. He was landing those rights a few times. Particularly he was going around the guard and getting in there, and that ended up being the shot.
He was
really
looking for uppercuts too. Do you see that?
No, I didn't.
So I guess because he knows he always has the overhand straight. That's been the most success against Pereira so far. Pereira, but I noticed that the first round he was looking for 1-6.
Yeah.
1-6. I think he was expecting Pereira to lean away. You know what I mean? And the best person I've ever seen with this setup used to be Mark Hunt. He would go one overhand, then he'd go one uppercut. And I think he might have been looking for that, but then he went for it, and he got hit with the left hook in round 1, and he thought, I can't do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this time he went over the top.
I think it's so remarkable how different they move for being both like
About
top
the same
level
size,
kickboxers. Yeah, because Adesanya is so like every part of his body is separate. Like he's so wavy.
Involved,
everything is moving separately and moving at their own pace. Meanwhile, Pereira, right here, it doesn't matter where his head is. Like his upper body is stone,
and it's throw a massive left, throw a massive kick. That's it.
He's just so solid compared to Adesanya, who's water. You know, it's legit. He's legit the last airbender. Like he's an airbender and Alex Pereira is an earthbender. Like they're legit on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
He is committed to his fucking his sci-fi and his comics or whatever.
His anime stuff.
Yeah, he's so committed to that. He references it in the post-fight. He references it all the time.
Yeah.
Talks about how he uses it to imagine real life, and it's like, all right, he's really.
I get it. I mean,
he gets power from it. Good for him.
I have run miles on a treadmill watching episodes of Attack on Titan. Whenever I watch Attack on Titan, I want to fight stuff.
Is that right?
It's the most like it pumps me up more.
I've never been
into
anime, and maybe it's time to give it a try.
I'm not a fan of anime. There's 3 I watch. 3 very specific ones I watch: Attack on Titan, Mob Psycho 100, and One Punch Man. Those last 2 are made by the same guy who was like can't draw. He can't draw, but he still was like, I'm gonna make comics, and so like he made these web comics that are very poorly drawn.
But the story,
but the stories are fantastic.
Not good art. Then doesn't some of the action scenes lose quality?
When they turned him into anime, at that point he had artists already come in and fix up his comic, but like there's still these scenes where they dip into his old style for like goofier moments. And it's fantastic. One Punch Man is like a satire of anime, like it's a comedy based around.
I might have to get one
anime.
recommendation from you. And try
Attack on Titan. That's I think one of the greatest shows ever. It's up there with like Breaking Bad and like I don't know.
I've never seen Breaking Bad either.
No, it's pretty good. It's not as good as people say, but it's
really.
It's
I love
good.
whatchamacallit. What's the other one that was compared to all the time? Ozark.
Ozark. You love that one?
I loved it. Well, I noticed at the end it was getting a little like, all right, we have to just tie the story up. Yeah. Like the last half season took a little dive.
I watched it all the way through, but I was kind of disappointed in some of it.
Really? Okay. To me, it was pretty sweet, but people say they're similar and that Breaking Bad's slightly better.
Yeah, I get mad at certain shows when they kill off people when it doesn't feel like they've earned the right death. Time. Yeah, all the zombie shows do that where people die and it's like there was no arc to this death. You just wanted to kill somebody. But back to
how about a few people saying that Izzy had that was kind of a lucky shot.
Oh no way! I don't think so at all. Like I think
he just threw it and blindly.
No. You know what?
First of all, he had to find him with that little left. It wasn't quite a jab. It was like kind of a scooping uppercut. But he was finding his range with that, right?
Yeah.
So he threw 5 fast punches and landed 4 of them with the pristine accuracy.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about some of his old knockouts against Whitaker and maybe Acosta's a good example. When like they're close and they're in that mid barrage and he looks like he's just slinging them out. That's when he's accurate and dangerous. You know? Both of the times he knocked out Whitaker once and twice in one fight. Both of those were like coming from that exchange.
Left hooks,
yeah. Whether it was left hook or because the second time he got him was a right, I believe.
I think that like he waited there in the pocket waiting for his opening and he caught it. What do you think? Do you think the first like he threw like a jab and then that overhand? Do you think that was the one that knocked his lights out? Because,
absolutely.
Like.
Oh, he was standing out on his feet.
He follows up with 2 more shots, but like the second right, like hits him in the top of the head. Really like it doesn't really like. It seemed like a little.
He was 80% out after the first overhand.
Yeah, I think so because the first one like hits him clean on the jaw.
Was it on the jaw or was it on the temple?
I think the first one's right on the jaw, and the second one's over the.
So the scooping one was on the jaw, and then the overhand.
No,
okay. I thought I saw the
first one.
For the
boom.
Definitely in the second right hand.
Yeah, and man. You don't see people get knocked out cold.
He was out a good 90 seconds.
He was flat on his back, not moving. He
gave him 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
He's saying in the press conference, he's all, well, you know what? I was thinking about not, but he would have done it to me.
Yeah. And like MMA, you have to go until the ref stops you, or else you might.
See the exchange with Pereira's son in the crowd?
Yes, I loved that.
That's messed up, and I guess they chatted and they kind of were cool after in the backstage after or whatever. But then at first it looks bad, like you're rubbing it in the kid's face.
Yeah, but it was...
Apparently the story goes in when he got knocked out.
Yeah. Also, like, how old is the kid now? He's got to be
10, 11.
Yeah, I assumed he's older because, like, he looked about that age when he did the dead thing to Izzy when he got knocked out in Glory, and that was years ago at this point. So,
I wonder, is it even the same kid?
But, yeah, I thought that was funny. I loved the arrows after
3 in a row too, huh?
Yeah,
I gotta make something.
Yeah, I loved it because, like, watching Pereira's walkout it's
pretty sick.
Yeah, he's got it down.
The timing
with his arrow,
he comes out, and I think literally the moment he can actually get a good visual on Adesanya is when he does it.
Yeah.
Right, if he comes out of the tunnel and he can't see the opponent yet, he waits for the right time.
He does that little march too, which I feel like just sums up his style completely. Yeah. Just that plodding march.
He's gonna do great at 205. Man. He can beat the champ right now. Yeah.
I am excited to see. It is remarkable how that division has turned around in the past year. Because
85 or 205?
205. Because I was not interested in it when Jan was the champ.
Yeah.
But now with
striking wise, he's a bigger, better version of Jan.
Now with Yuri Prochazka in the 205, with Alex Pereira moving up to 205.
Alex Pereira is a more refined he's better, period. Better than Prochazka. You know what I mean?
You think so?
I think so.
Is
Prochazka going to wrestle? Is Prochazka going to commit to grappling?
He might.
He's going to have to.
I mean, in the war with Teixeira, there was a lot of grappling.
I look into it more, maybe not.
I'm a huge fan of Prochazka. I think he's the coolest.
I think it's hard.
I also think
heart, say that.
It'll be a very similar rivalry to the Adesanya rivalry because like Adesanya, he's a bit of a nerd. He's a different type of nerd. He's a samurai nerd instead of an anime nerd. But like,
he's not the water like we're talking about.
He is very flowy though. Like he's looking
to be
different type.
But once the brawl breaks out,
just
then a lot of that
into a brawl. I think like he's much less sturdy than Pereira is. And you know, with Jamala Hill's win over Teixeira, he switched up the division too. We're like, now we got these like really interesting strikers at the top of that division. Where like,
if I look deeper,
I don't know who's going to be the
but I feel like Pereira could just beat everybody in the top 5 right now.
Yeah,
I don't know who else is there.
The
3 we named, he's a favorite in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah.
There's Jan.
Jan, Prochazka, Jamal Hill,
Magomed.
Yeah, there we go. He can't beat him.
That's
he probably can't beat him. Yeah.
Yeah, I am always tempted to say Russian wrestler is going to win, but I don't know. Maybe
he didn't run through Jan like that.
No, he didn't.
No.
And like, it seems like maybe their time at the top. Maybe people are starting to figure it out. Like they haven't gotten there yet.
Anybody who stays standing is making a big mistake.
Yeah.
Do not stay standing.
That might be a problem with those
Israel. Might be the only person in the UFC that can stay standing
with Pereira. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I have hope for Jamala and Prochazka. Because I tend to count people out a lot and then get proven wrong.
I definitely thought that about Jan multiple fights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. So I could see. I mean, I had no hope for Jamal Hill during the Teixeira fight. I was like, he is going to get destroyed by Teixeira. Teixeira is going to get his belt back, but like, it wasn't that case at all.
Yeah,
like
no
Jamal
kidding,
definitely
the youth and the speed was a factor there, man.
Yeah, which like, how old is Pereira? He was like
35.
Yeah, 2 years older than Adesanya is young. I did not expect him to only be 33.
He came to the UFC at 29, I believe. Yeah.
Like, wow, that's crazy to have like that big of a career in kickboxing and then still make it.
Trip me out. He claims he always wanted to be an MMA fighter. He was just good at kickboxing, and he was already making some bucks off of it. Because I guess he always was with City Kickboxing, which is a striking and MMA gym. You know what I mean? Maybe even more of an MMA gym now. Mm-hmm. And I think he was even saying there was more there was always more MMA fighters there, at least when he started. And he wanted MMA to be an MMA fighter originally. He just excelled at kickboxing, was making money, became a champ in lower leagues pretty quick, and he rode with it. But he always planned on coming back to MMA.
Yeah, I read something about him doing Muay Thai because of the movie Ong Bak or something, like a Muay Thai kung fu movie. Yeah, so he may have started with that, always planning on doing the MMA, and then like stuck with it because he has, he is obviously good at it. And I could see him like loving it because of the flowiness. Like, he's like, I'm gonna be this anime guy, and you don't see too much grappling in anime. Though I almost
want to see him. Obviously, he's a better striker than everybody, but I almost want to see him utilize a little bit of grappling more. You don't have to finish people, but I want to see him threaten it more for his stand-up game. Maybe that's not the case against Pereira, or maybe it is.
Was it that fight where he kept going for a leg, or was that another fight on the card? Yeah, that was another fight on the card. Who was that? I'm not sure. There was another fight on the card where somebody kept going for a leg to like set up his striking, and then
just a quick grab kind of thing.
Able to get a couple takedowns because of it, because kept going for the leg just to like,
because it was originally just a threat for the
and then was able.
Was it on the main card? I can't remember.
Let's see. Who was on the main card? The main card was the Christian Rodriguez Raul fight. It was not that one. The Rob Font fight, and it wasn't that one. Burns, Masvidal, Adesanya. We're missing one. I think it's the one that I'm missing here.
We missed there.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Oh no,
it's
the. I was gonna say Gastelum, but no.
It's what? Who was their names? The Kevin Holland fight. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Holland kept going for a leg.
He's so long that it's actually a threat, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And I think he was able to get a takedown off of it.
I can't believe a couple people were saying that's a bad stoppage.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
he snapped out of it, but he was out.
Yeah, watching it with my dad, he was like, "Oh, that seemed a little quick." And then we saw the replay. Because you see him hit the ground and his arms are like right here, and you think like, oh, he's defending himself.
He gets hit 2 more times.
But when you see it, his head hits first.
Dangling, yeah.
Yeah, like he didn't catch himself with his arms. His arms just happened to be there. He hit head first, and then got a couple follow-up shots, and it was
I think the third one kind of snapped him out of it, but that's not what you want. What you're gonna do? Let's get 3 concussions in 2 minutes. How about that? What are you gonna do? He might have saved his career. One more fight, you know.
He was mad at the ref, and I think what happened is he was so out that when he was back on his feet, he didn't remember getting hit. Like, I think that's what happened. I think that he snapped from getting hit to being on the ground, and he was like, I was fine. What are you talking about? But like, he wasn't there for the 2 follow-up shots.
And I think there just would have been more unanswered shots.
Yeah. I think it was a good stoppage. I thought Kevin Holland looked good. Like, it was a good fight for him.
Good.
I like Kevin Holland.
He's got a chance against anybody who's not committed to pressuring him and taking him down.
Yeah. I think that's
except Wonder Boy. Huh?
Yeah. Well, Wonder Boy is a different beast than anything, right? Speaking of karate, did you catch the Michelle Watterson fight on the card? Man, she looked fantastic.
You thought she got robbed?
I think she won. Yeah,
I think she won by a cut hair, probably.
Close. Yeah, but I do think that like
she needs more power per shot, huh? Like every time like she loses these close ones, and there's been a few of them in her career, it's like I think there's a difference. It's just the impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's a problem with.
But she was looking great. I haven't seen her that fit looking in a while.
I think that's a problem with a lot of like karate and taekwondo fighters. Is like they're used to the point sparring with the legs.
That's the point.
Yeah, so like
he clobbered once and it's back to even. You know.
No, like I also think the judges may not recognize how bad those like side kicks to the stomach are. Like she landed a
good poker face,
and man, so quick with that front leg. Like she just pop it up there before Pereira could do anything.
I thought she should have won that one.
Yeah.
Speaking of good old fights and close ones, did you see Calvillo?
Yes.
I thought she kind of won that one too. I thought she scraped by on that one.
That was the first match I watched of the night. And yeah, I did think that Calvillo won. I think that it was close, and I was kind of rooting for Loopy.
I like that stocky frame.
I think I just like her name, and I've heard it a few times. So I was like, "Yeah, Loopy, all right." But
she then watching it, the American mispronunciation, huh? What she did. It's Lupe.
No,
it is
it's
Lupe.
Lupita.
Okay, well that
So
just means
short
that's a
for-
nickname, yeah,
Yeah.
for Lupe. But I mean, they spell it out Loopy.
Yeah,
And I feel like
instead
that's
of
her
Lupe.
embracing the American mispronunciation of it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, she's a bit crazy. That's what she's going with.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh man, right after that was the Mearshire fight
Yeah, wow.
where like I thought he looked like he didn't want to be there. Like,
yeah. He
that
kind of has that style sometimes, but I know what you mean. It seems like he felt the strength of Pfeiffer and power, and he's like, shit.
yeah, I mean, I don't
Pfeiffer's
think that
huge, huh?
I don't think he got knocked out as much as he felt a strong hit and was like, nope, I'm done. Like,
I know
like
what you mean, yeah.
I was watching it with my dad. He was like, he kind of looks like the guy who rolls around a bunch. And I was like, Ryan Hall. And
Yeah.
they both got those sunken in eyes, the sunken in sleepy eyes, except Gerald Mearshart looks like he always just finished crying. Like his
He
eyes
does
are
have
all,
that. You know what that is? That's overtrained.
Oh, yeah?
That's overtrained.
Yeah, he needs to move up in weight or something.
No, he needs to take time off leading up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, you don't train up to the fight. You lighten your load, and then peak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even when I would do these stupid little backyard fights, I would take like the last 4 days off. You know what I mean? And I'd like do double days up to that. The last 3 or 4 days I'd take off and then do one hard warm up. You're trying to peak at that moment, you know?
Yeah,
The sunken in dark eyes, that's overtraining.
whenever I would fight, my coaches would be like the Friday sparring night beforehand, like come through if you want, but like you're not sparring. Like that's your day off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been other fights where he's been looking good, but to me, like I think the only fights that are memorable of
For Mearshart?
his, were this one and
When he gets
him
cleaned up by
Kamzat. Yeah,
After Kamzat, he went on a streak, right? 4-1, 4-0, something like
Oh,
that. Yeah. So he's been on the up.
okay,
But he does, even when he's been winning by submission, I believe.
okay.
Like a close fight, and then round 3 he gets the submission.
Yeah.
I've seen at least 2 of his fights like that. And I feel like he is an improved fighter, pretty good. But I think physical tools, Pfeiffer is the real deal.
Yeah, he
Gigantic for the weight.
he got super emotional in that post-fight interview. Pfeiffer.
What was he saying? I don't remember.
Oh, he was just like, I had nothing. I grew up homeless, and this right here is my moment. Like I'm finally doing something. Like it was like you just won like a prelim fight, bro.
Yeah.
This is your that's your speech to give once you become champion. But like also like
Hey, he's
okay,
feeling it. He's feeling
all
it.
right, yeah. Let me see where you go.
Hope you're
from
not
here.
capped out.
So I was just thinking like, yeah, maybe he'll be a fresh blood to get to the top of middleweight because that division kind of is cleaned out with Adesanya. But like,
He's got some holes, but he's also got the potential to
do you think
fix them all.
Kamzat fights Adesanya next?
It could happen.
Because they've been talking about him going to middleweight.
It could happen. But doesn't he have to get one middleweight win?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, he's not number 1 at 70. You know, he's like number 4, and he can't even make the weight anymore. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that if it wasn't for the weight trouble, he would be next in line for welterweight. But like, yeah, maybe give him somebody like a Marvin Vettori or Robert Whittaker. Though, like, both
That's
of those,
good test. I don't know if he could beat Vettori.
I don't think so. I don't know either because like
Vettori could take it.
I get that like Kamzat has been cutting a lot of weight to make 170, but like I feel like those guys at 185 are going to be massive compared to him. Like particularly Vettori, like
thicker,
maybe
Vettori's about 5'11" and a half and thick as shit.
Yeah, maybe Kamzat will end up looking like Adesanya, where he's long and like
well, he's 6'2" with a good wingspan. You know, he's not the tallest. He's 6'2", which isn't the tallest at 85. It's near the tallest at 70.
Yeah.
And he's not like he's ripped and detailed, but he's not filled in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like. I don't think it'll be an issue for him. I don't think there's going to be a size issue for him at 85. And if he
think he's able to keep people down as much though?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
With his,
if anything, he just needs to train to be an 85er.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are we talking about? 4 pounds of muscle, not a lot. You know, nothing to slow him down. Or he doesn't even need to do that. He just needs to focus on gas tank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just gas tank alone will solve that problem for him at middleweight, I believe.
Yeah, especially against people like Vettori that like
have gas tank and durability.
Yeah.
I always get tripped out when a stocky guy has good gas tank. You're like, man, God just gave that to you. Huh?
Yeah, there's something about people like Vettori and that the South African guy who I forget his
Oh
name.
yeah, Duplessis or whatever.
Duplessis,
Yeah.
where like both of them constantly to me look exhausted, like they're just swinging and they look sloppy, and it's like, what is going on? But like they end up winning, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe
I'm not falling
just
for that
not
with Duplessis
seeing it.
anymore.
Yeah, right.
He gets me every time. Oh, he's gassing out. He's
Yep.
gassing out.
And then, like I think he said before, like I'm not breathing through my mouth because I'm tired. I just can't breathe through my nose.
Right. He said something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Co-main. Where are we at?
The
Any order you want.
Yeah, the top of the prelims. I think the fight of the night win was
wow.
Gastelum and Chris Curtis.
I was happy for Gastelum, but the way Curtis was coming on at the end, I'm like, shit, you might not get this.
Yeah, right. I when I was in middle school, I lived in Yuma, Arizona, which is Kelvin Gastelum's hometown. I may know some people who went to high school with him. So like there's some love I got for Gastelum just for being like a hometown.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, not only is he from Yuma, but trained down the road at King's MMA for a long time.
Right. Where's he at now? Is he at the Dallas one?
I'm not sure. They said that he just switched camps for this fight. I'm not sure what his new one is.
What's that? MMA Factory is what it's called.
MMA
right?
Factory is the
I'm surprised they even give the shout outs, right? Because that's James Krause's place?
No.
James Krause?
James Krause is in Kansas City.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
MMA Factory is Dallas.
Okay. Yeah. It is weird when James. I think one of James.
Even some of his fighters are like getting.
I think
even got cut or punished. I want to say.
I think that the guy who fought Derek Minner in that one fight that's been investigated.
Yeah.
I think he was on the cards tonight.
Oh, okay.
Bahamondes maybe.
Oh, Bahamondes, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was the one that fought Derek Minner. That was the fight that is getting investigated. But yeah, Kelvin Gastelum looked so good.
Looked so good early.
Like I think
he looked good overall.
The best that I've seen him look in a while.
As the rounds go on, his striking defense fades a little, huh?
Yeah, I think they said it right in the commentary booth where like once he got hit, he stopped being as sound because he wanted to get it back. And like
one adjustment with the body shots by Curtis, huh?
Yeah,
those were thudding. I'm like, oh,
yeah, fantastic on that.
And then finally he went upstairs after. I was like, ooh, he's gonna set it up.
Gastelum has that like long ape index where like
for being a stumper,
it feels like he can reach.
He
for
extends
longer.
Well. Yeah. He does have some wingspan for his height though.
He also does that. He circles his front hand constantly.
Yeah.
Like he's Mr. Miyagi or something. He's doing the
wax on, wax off. He's trying to be flowy.
Yeah. His bouncing, his movement was better than I've ever seen him do.
Are you one of those people that believes he should be a welterweight?
No, I don't think so.
No, because he'll lose some speed. I think he won't be that faster guy anymore. Huh?
Yeah, I think that he
can make it, and a lot of guys with his frame make it all the time.
Yeah, I think that he does. I mean, he does fantastic at middleweight. Like he has been.
He's 2-5 in the last couple of years.
Not too great lately, but
2-4, I want to say.
But I mean, who did those losses come by? I mean,
all the
last
top
one
guys.
I saw
the
was
bad one
Whitaker.
Was Till.
Oh, okay. He lost.
The bad one was Till.
Yeah, that's not a good.
It was a close one.
But was that when Till was?
It was Till's first fight at 185.
Okay. Yeah, so he was still on the come up then at that.
Kind of. He had just, I guess he'd lost to Woodley, and I don't know. I don't remember what happened between that and his first 185 fight, but it was his first fight at 185.
Yeah.
And, they were already. We saw how big Till was at 170, so it seemed like okay, Gastelum's a smaller 85er. It's a good matchup, and it worked out. He won by a cut here, if I remember.
Yeah.
Maybe split decision.
His last fight with Whitaker was a pretty good war, Gastelum, and that wasn't too long ago.
But he pulled away. I think Whitaker dominated.
I
want to say round one was close, but after that it was domination.
I remember it being like a pretty back and forth. I remember Whitaker clearly winning. Mm-hmm. I think I was rooting for Gastelum at the time, but maybe that clouded my view.
It could be, yeah.
I was
pretty sure Whitaker swept him.
If
not finished.
Their season of The Ultimate Fighter, I think it was the second season I watched.
Yeah, that was weird.
I loved it. Both of them were so likable.
At that point, I thought Gastelum and Whitaker was a good matchup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whitaker's also a guy who came from 70. He's not huge. You know what I mean? So I thought that Gastelum did have a chance at that time.
Yeah.
But at the stage that they're in now, or when they fought, there's a pretty big gap.
They're separate now. But
Gastelum, he doesn't wrestle anymore either, you know?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
He is like I was disappointed in seeing that, like not enough wrestling at that
I
at
mean, that's
the
what got
Chris
him into
Curtis
the UFC.
fight.
That's what helped him win the first tournament, you
Yeah,
know?
it
Or that, what was it, season 17, I think he was in?
yeah, it's disappointing to see. It's disappointing to see. Like, it's pretty common with wrestlers that they stop wrestling, and like,
Gotta
what are you
blend it
doing?
in.
Yeah, yeah, you dance with the girl that took you to the dance or whatever they say.
Dance with the girl you came with.
Yeah, like
I made that a lyric once.
oh yeah, yeah, like the wrestlers need to keep wrestling, even if their striking is getting them some wins. Like, keep the threat at least.
I think they realize the efficiency difference too, because it takes a lot of energy to wrestle.
Yeah,
a lot of energy to wrestle.
But I mean, that's
especially anaerobic energy, you know.
That's the badge of honor that wrestlers have, right? Is that they have the cardio to keep going. And so it is disappointing to see him not wrestle. And yeah,
so what I said, I think he's 2-4 in the last 5 or 6 fights, whatever.
Yeah.
And the other win that he did get, he wrestled a lot. He wrestled a lot.
Yeah. Oh man, he's had a lot of canceled fights he's had 3 since 2022.
Oh, it's all there. Okay.
Oh yeah, lost
to Cannonier, lost to
Whitaker, beat Ian Heinisch.
Okay, that one. He wrestled a lot in that one, and he scraped by.
Yeah.
One that disappointed me was he got heel hooked by freaking Jack Hermanson.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a basic outside heel hook, single leg outside X entry. The most basic heel hook you learn your first day of leg locks.
Yeah.
And his defense was not there. I know you're an MMA guy, dude. Come on, you're supposed to be a 10 planet black belt.
Yeah. Yeah, them heel hooks. I feel like there's some submissions that you get because somebody out grapples you, and then there's some submissions that are like,
I just don't know the defense.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect that to be, because there's submissions that you expect. You expect an armbar, you expect a rear naked choke. Them leg locks, sometimes it's like, oh, all right, yeah, it's in before I even.
With basic outside too, you just gotta turn, you know, and if you got the flexibility, stack and pound.
Yeah,
you know, you got to commit 2 hands to one ankle to get a leg lock. So
yeah, can't defend your face
right,
while holding onto an ankle. Yeah, Chris Curtis looked excellent too.
Yeah.
And like you said,
they're like mirror images to an extent, you know.
That third round, I do think that he was starting to pull away. And like, it's almost like if he would have done more in the second.
He's also one of those guys that you could tell he's just covering up, similar to Yan or something, you know. Peter Yan, I should say. Piotr Yan.
Yeah.
He's taking it in. He's downloading. He's taking it in.
Yeah.
And then by the end of round 2, he's finding those openings, and one of them was that lead right hook to the body.
Yeah, it's cool to see them get fight of the night for that. I don't know how often fight of the night goes to prelim fights.
Not too often, right? Sometimes it should, but they just don't have the name.
Yeah.
But supposedly Dana kicks him a little something after.
Yeah, I mean, he often does, like.
Did you see that comeback by that kid Garcia?
Garcia, I did not see.
Christian Garcia?
Christian Rodriguez?
No, Garcia, early prelims, I want to say.
No, I
was fighting this ripped up Asian kid. He had like a Mongolian or maybe even a Thai last name, but he was from China. And dude, he was darker skinned too.
Okay,
this kid was a beast. Yeah, pronounce
Steve
that
Garcia
for me.
And Shah Yilan.
Oh, okay. Wait. That's not how they had his name on. That's not how they had his name on the screen. Okay, but he was physically was a beast. Smacked him, dropped him hard. I mean, right hand across the chin. I was like, dude, it's about to be over.
Yeah.
Came back and cleaned him up in round 2. He was pumped, as he should be.
Yeah, what was that? They're featherweights. I'm always interested to see who's coming up in each division to be like,
those top divisions,
be watching them. Yeah,
because you could be out of the rankings at 135, 145, 155,
and
you could be out of the rankings, and you could be
still be a top fighter. Speaking of those rankings down there, because for the last couple episodes that we've done this, I've talked about how great I think Marlon Vera is. Did you catch the Vera Sandhagen fight from a couple weeks ago?
Absolutely.
Damn, Sandhagen looked good.
He was in the Matrix, bro.
Yo, he was on fire. Like, Vera looked like he had nothing that he could do.
He's another guy. Okay, he's downloading, he's trying to find big openings for later.
Yep.
And he couldn't
at all. And like,
I think Sandhagen is switching stances like every reset. Every time he pulls back from a combo, he's switching.
Yep. I think that like that made it super hard for Vera to find him. Like he was waiting for like, okay, stay still and I'll get you, but like Sandhagen won it. And then Sandhagen's wrestling.
Yeah.
Like since when is Sandhagen a wrestler?
We got a couple against
like I know he has like some jiu-jitsu, but like I expected him to be the type that like pulls off submissions after being taken down. Like I did not expect him to be an aggressive
He's so
wrestler.
Smart. That's like what it is, you know?
Yeah.
He sets it up via the striking, and you know, if you're over defending up here, you know, or if you overextend, he'll make you pay.
I think it's clear that like Sandhagen's had a couple losses now. Like he lost to Jan and he lost to Dillashaw, and I think that
he beat Dillashaw.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean that it was a close one. It was one where I feel like Dillashaw didn't necessarily win as much as Sandhagen just didn't do enough in a couple rounds to take it. But like, I think that he decided
tore his knee up, jacked him up.
Yeah,
but he got held against the cage like 2 rounds straight.
Yeah,
just held against the cage.
I think that he decided after those losses, like, I'm not gonna lose this one. Like he decided like he's gonna go for it, and like he looked like he was wanting to win, and like. Yeah, he impressed the hell out of me with that. Poor Cheeto. Cheeto's back to the drawing board.
Man, back to like drop number 5 or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, any of those, who else is a high movement guy? Those are the guys that are gonna give him trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sandhagen's intelligence and his fight IQ just rose even further, and he was already good with that.
Yeah, it's kind of that division now. They're giving Cejudo the chance. Yeah. Where like
you don't like that.
I get it. I get why they would do it. And like, I suspect Cejudo will probably win. I mean, depending on like how much
let's see the size difference. Let's see the size difference. Yeah, we're gonna be pretty shocked with the size difference.
I mean, I have not seen much of Cejudo. I watched his Dominic Cruz fight. And I think I've watched his Dillashaw fight, but that one was only like 20 seconds or something. Yeah. So it's not much, but I know that he has that he was Olympic wrestler and then added like the GSP karate, right? Like his
he changed very karate. So there was a couple fights he came out very karate. That Wilson Hayes knockout, man, what a fast straight right hand. Ridiculous. Looks great. And now he's going back to like a little more squared up, and he does this elbow thing similar to Moreno. You know what I mean? He's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I always say, the MMA stance is still kind of in development per style. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't have your hands all the way up because you're exposed. You can't be too sideways because you're exposed. You can't be too square because you're exposed. So there's still a lot of development.
Those calf kicks really mess up karate guys, right?
There's a factor.
So the main card started with that Raul Rosas fight.
Yeah.
Going into that, I wanted Christian to dominate. I was like, let's
teach
show
the
this
kid a lesson.
Because like there was a back and forth between Chris Curtis and Raul Rosas where like Chris Curtis was telling him like, hey, don't be talking trash about us prelimers. Like this is where you belong, or something like that.
That was a tweet or something.
Yeah,
that's it was shown.
And yeah, exactly right. Like I kind of thought it was weird that Rosas is already on the main card. His second UFC fight, like after come on now.
That is rare. Bo Nickel, I understand.
Yeah, right. Olympic wrestler, you understand when they get shot to the main card immediately, but like just a Contender Series winner, I get it. He's a young guy.
Now he's 18. But
yeah.
They almost feel bad when they had some of the ground and pound at the end because like, oh, he's a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I was so stoked. Like I was nervous during the first round because Rosas came out.
Rodriguez, I feel like he has precision no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And Rosas has MMA grappling.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought he was going to be a slightly better striker. I looked up a little bit about Christian Rodriguez, and they said his wrestling sucks.
Yeah.
And I guess it did, right? He got him down once.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's as bad as we thought. And I also think Rosas' wrestling's not great, right?
Yeah,
He's trying to make the connection versus off a flying knee and a wild punch or two. That was kind of sloppy.
I think he's one of those guys where he is known as a striker. And so he wanted to be like, well, I got to knock out my first fight, so I'm going to come out and like show how good my grappling is.
Oh, did he get a knockout in his first fight?
I
thought it was RFC. I feel like I've only seen him win by RNC.
Oh, it was RNC. Yeah. I feel like maybe it was his Contender Series he got a knockout, but like I think he's known as more of a striker. Maybe he got the RNC off of some strikes,
after like
off of knockdown,
rocking him. Yeah.
But like I feel like he wanted to prove his jiu-jitsu, and then couldn't finish after having the back for like 3 minutes or something. Like he had the back for a long time, and Rodriguez, just defended, did what he needed to, and
just a better jiu-jitsu guy.
Let Rosas gas himself out. Like, I think that first round
comes out too hot, huh?
Yeah, came out looking for that finish, and there's some fighters who come out looking for the finish immediately, and when they don't get it, they're stuck.
He better keep improving because that modeling contract's not waiting for him.
It's
not coming.
He needs to get his nose more broken so he can get it redone. He's got so much time. To, like, improve. Like, he's at this.
Don't let the
level
punishment build up before you peak physically, though.
Yeah.
Don't let the brain. You know what I mean? I like that he's a grappling heavy fighter. But eventually you got to strike. Yeah.
So that was fun. That was fun to see Christian Rodriguez just put him in his place. Be like, hey kid, calm down. You need to figure out what you're doing.
Teenage strength and mid-20s strength. There's a difference.
Yeah, right. I said that while I was watching. Like
like a bone density difference. I feel like.
I feel like bone density, muscle density. Like when you're 25, your muscles have compacted.
That's a way to put it.
When you're 18, your muscles are still loose and growing.
It's different because I remember, like, I think I was at my strongest on the weights in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But my late 20s, there's like, it's a difference. It's a difference. It's not the explosion. I mean, the explosion is peaking in your early 20s, your teenage years.
But the speed, what you call it, that not resistance, that ability,
static
to
strength,
going.
Isometric strength.
Yeah. I mean, that's why those heavyweights can keep fighting into their old age, where like the younger...
It takes 20 years to learn how to use that big body.
Yeah. So I do think there was old man strength against Rosas, and he learned, like, all right.
So I hope Christian Rodriguez continues to do
right?
Okay, so it doesn't look as bad when you look back on Rosas' career.
Yeah.
Oh, he lost that guy who went 1-4 in the UFC.
Yeah, calling him like old man strength, like... He's 25.
Yeah, let's say
he's
man.
Pretty young for even the bantamweights.
Yeah,
like even the bantamweights are in their 30s. Like 25, he's got a long time to keep working. So I would like to see more of him in the future. Rob Font. I was worried. I am a fan of Rob Font, and like going into it, I talked to a few people who were like, "Yeah, I think Yanez has got this," and I was like,
"Yeah."
I like Rob Font, but he has lost a couple. His last 2 fights were Vera and Aldo, and
he doesn't take damage well.
Oh man,
he does not take damage well.
Yeah, he got like hit once and his eye swelled.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Ooh, yeah, and that might be a factor in a more drawn out fight.
Yeah, it made me rethink the Vera fight because like the thing that made the Vera fight so clearly in Vera's favor was
the way he lumped his ass up.
Yeah. So now I'm like, oh, maybe those shots weren't that hard. Maybe like his face just gets
GSP was kind of like that.
Easy.
He doesn't take it well. Yeah.
But what was amazing about the Rob Font fight is he would stay in the pocket and like he would throw the jab out and grab the head and throw the uppercuts and then the hooks.
So I feel like Yanez has a great boxing too, right?
Yeah.
He does a lot of pull counter check hooks. He does a lot of pull 1-2, slip overhand. I think everybody who fights Rob Font realizes this fucking guy at bantamweight is long.
Yeah.
That 1-2 is so long. They think the jab's gonna stop here. It goes another 6 inches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's trying to get his slip and counter. Right? He is not even done punching, dude.
Yeah.
He's still reaching far on that jab.
Yeah.
And I saw that become a factor on some of those. He was trying to do some pull check hooks, and it wasn't reaching.
I think that the jab is a different thing in MMA because you don't have the massive shield that boxers have.
Right.
Like boxers, you have to think about how to get around all of this. MMA, you have to think about getting right through there.
Even if your hands are like this, it fits. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And so, like somebody like Rob Font, who is not only long, but like makes himself long with that jab. He steps into it. He turns his whole body sideways,
full extension,
and just sits down on that jab. Like it's excellent. I love seeing that. Just straight punches. That's all is needed in MMA. You get right between that guard, and it messes people up. Um, yeah, and then like I said, he would grab the back of the head after the jab, throw the jab, and if it misses, he's hooking onto the head. And even while he's doing that, he's getting
a little bit,
getting some hooks in there. But like, it paid off for him. Like the time that it worked, he shut him out.
The shot that put him out, wow, that came from down here.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see, that's not technical. It's not efficient because it came from way down here. But he's got like that pause jab.
Yep, and he's got his shoulder up because of it, and so he's defensively.
And at that moment he throws it, Yanez is his eyes are completely covered by the jab, so he can't see it. So the fact that it's not coming from the correct part of the chamber, no big deal. Yeah, it came from down, boom, right into it.
So yeah, good for him, man. It's interesting. Interesting to see like where does he go, bro. Have you ever noticed how similar the Puerto Rican and the Cuban flags are?
Of course.
Well,
all the Caribbean, you got black, white, Taino. That's what you got.
I can never tell when I see a fighter come out with the flag. Like,
they're similar.
Is that Cuban?
Don't tell that to each other. You know what I mean?
Puerto Rican. Well, it's legitimately
Puerto Rican's blue triangle.
Yes. Yeah, which kind of makes less sense to me, though. I get it. Because red is communist, so I think the red stripes I assume would be Cuba, but no, it's the red triangle.
Triangle, yeah.
So that's the island right there. It's the triangle. That's the red Cuba. I looked it up because I was like, why are the flags?
Yeah, I noticed at an early age.
And it looks like it is because they were both designed in New York by exiles from their country who were fighting for freedom at the time. So like Puerto Rican had a specific exile who designed their flag in New York, and then Cuban exiles in New York also designed the Cuban flag.
You tell a Puerto Rican to design anything, shorts, a poster, anything, and they can't use the Puerto Rican flag, they're stuck. They don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was guilty too.
Yeah. Are you
I'm
Puerto Rican?
Yeah, okay. Mostly.
Yeah, I hang out with a bunch of Cubans, so it's time to get some fights going on, right?
Yeah, you got good baseball players and boxers from both islands. Yeah.
Yeah. I see those flags on those like different styles of boxing from different nation videos that I like to watch on Instagram.
Oh yeah. If you're in Puerto Rico, you got baseball, boxing, or that's it. You're stuck on the fucking island.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were.
They like basketball too.
I was wondering if they were related because of the flags. I was thinking like, was there some kind of war and that's how U.S. became in control of Puerto Rico and not of Cuba? Like maybe that was something.
It was just one of the furthest islands out. That was a midpoint to establish, I think,
a trade route with another
and establish place. Like at least certain routes of dominance in the Caribbean.
Yeah. I mean, that's the better deal, right? Being an island controlled by the U.S. than compared to
they're
being
just mooching off the U.S.
Castro or something. Yeah,
there's a heroin problem over there right now too.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a heroin problem all around the world right now, right?
Yeah,
or at least opiates.
In America, it's fucking in continental America, it's meth. Right?
Oh yeah,
fentanyl now, but
yeah, I have a theory that the whole fentanyl thing is just a conspiracy, that it doesn't actually exist. I mean, it clearly exists. Like we sell it at pharmacies and stuff, but like the idea that it's the thing that's killing people, I'm like,
well, supposedly the other day at the bar I was watching the fight at, one of the bartenders, because what's that little adrenaline shot that they keep? It's a can or whatever.
Narcan.
Yeah. So somebody was doing coke in the bathroom, and story goes it had whatchamacallit in it, fentanyl. They were ODing. They came in, saved his life. Yeah. So she's a bartender and a fucking hero.
Yeah, I've known some heroin users who like have OD'd and needed Narcan and stuff, and it's like, that's the thing. Heroin causes that too. So why is there this big thing about fentanyl? Why would we need to shift the narrative? I feel like it's a America hating drugs kind of thing, where they're like, we need to have a bigger boogeyman because people don't care about these heroin deaths anymore.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, people not doing heroin and coke is a good thing to me.
yeah, it's probably a good idea.
But yeah, like I know my friends that fuck around, they're all worried, and they have the little testers for every time they buy coke.
Yeah.
To see if there's fentanyl in it. So there's something real about it, you know.
There is. like you mentioned, the meth. I think that's
That's a big issue.
That's a huge issue. I don't know if you've seen I was listening to a Dr. Drew podcast, and he was talking about how there is this guy who has written a book that tracks how an increase in psychosis among homeless people is related to the increase of P2P style meth coming up from Mexico. That there was a shift in like the late 90s, early 2000s
The type of speed, huh?
from a traditional like Sudafed based meth into this P2P style, which uses different like base components.
I always thought ephedra was the base.
Yeah.
But it's in there at least.
Yeah, that's where the Sudafed. That's what the base. That's they take the ephedra out of Sudafed, and that's how traditionally. That's a more like, what do you call it? Like a trailer park, like a home mix.
When I was a kid and I would take Rip Fuel or something like that for the gym, I always thought to myself, man, if I was a meth addict, this might get me by.
Yeah. I've taken a couple of those like gas stations. They used to have
real ephedra and all that.
They used to have a shot at the gas station down the street called Rhino Rush.
Yeah,
that said powered by ephedra.
How about at LA Fitness? They used to sell those drinks, Speed Stack and whatnot.
Yeah,
and it's
that were ephedra based.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean,
you see 18-years in there just fucking guzzling them.
I loved it because like it as opposed to caffeine that gives me like a
usually goes together,
jittery,
right?
Yeah.
What would they call it? It's ephedra, aspirin, caffeine that makes the stack more potent, right?
The ephedra though would clear everything up. Like it would give me a clear kind of rush. And I loved that. Like I was like, I remember everything.
Heart was pumping so hard one time, and I wanted to go away already. I started eating like greasy food, trying to slow my heart down. More French fries, dip it in ranch.
That just increases the pressure. You just clog up the arteries.
Wasn't smart.
You got pressure already. You clog up the arteries.
I think I'm literally 18 at the moment.
Yeah. All right, so we've reached the 50-minute mark.
Quick about Masvidal, huh?
Oh yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So like I said, he looked a lot better than I expected him to. I thought Burns was just going to walk through him like he did. Was it Jeff Neal or Neil Magny, whichever one?
Oh, Magny. I didn't see that because I know Masvidal has he truly is a good striker.
Yeah.
How is somebody who has such success striking through his whole career and showed such technical ability how is he so vulnerable to that 1-2 still? The straight right. How is he still so vulnerable to that?
Yeah, right.
20 years in the game, you're still getting hit with that. And then Gilbert doesn't even throw them straight sometimes. He mostly throws loopers. He threw a few straight ones. He threw a few straight ones this time, which I thought was an improvement by him.
Yeah, I think he does a lot of jab to get in and then kind of throws that.
He throws it more of an overhand or a hook.
To
get around.
Which kind of makes sense for his, as a grappler, he could throw the jab and then threaten the takedown and throw the right.
Ryan Faber was good at those, and even the uppercut would be there too.
He does a lot of those, a lot of head movement on the way in as well. Low head movement, not real.
He needs to,
yeah.
I feel like in the past he did move his head. He would drop his hands right before he threw.
Yeah,
so I thought
caught with stuff.
I thought that's why Masvidal had a chance.
Yeah,
because there is such holes in Burns' striking game. He did look like he improved and cleaned some of them up, but Masvidal is just not the same with his reaction, with his
did you hear
reflexes?
Burns' claims about Masvidal wearing too much lotion?
He said, "I know for sure."
Yeah, he's been
said, "I know this
up
trick
every couple hours, putting on more lotion. So once he starts sweating, you just get." Do you think? You think that's?
I thought he looked shiny.
A case?
I thought he looked a little extra.
Yeah, he did.
Little extra photo shootish.
Yeah, he was like, I would get him for sure. He also, I feel like, threw some shade at Colby Covington during his interview. Gilbert Burns.
Post-fight, what'd he say?
Because he was like, I don't know if you've seen a lot of top level wrestlers in this division. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of top level wrestlers have trouble keeping Jorge Masvidal down. But,
right.
I took him down.
Yeah, he did mention that.
Which fair enough. Yeah.
That's what I figured. If he wouldn't be as good at getting him down, but he would hold him down better than Kamaru or Colby.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that is part of Colby's style, is to keep people down.
No, he just wants you to work.
Yeah.
He's not going to submit you. He's going to pound you, and as you struggle to get up, he's going to keep hitting you, keep hitting you, keep hitting you. Keep making you work.
Yeah. To me, his whole style is make you get up and then beat you up on the feet because you're too tired now, and then take you down and make you get up again. So it's not really his style to hold people down. But
what a career for Masvidal, though. 20 years. At least he had those couple years of stardom, and high level.
Yeah.
Because remember back in the day, I thought, man, this guy's so good, but he keeps losing these split decisions, these tiny decisions.
It's pretty incredible that he got stardom at 2019 after so long.
He was already 35 fights in.
so long that
it's a good story.
I didn't know he was Kimbo's dude until afterwards. It took a year and a half after his.
I remember watching those fights way back in the day. I didn't even realize it was him until 5 years later.
Yeah. So it's crazy for him to have that certain type of fame early on, and then years later to become really recognized in MMA.
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
Glad he at least had those moments,
And now he's got his Game Bred Boxing. I feel like.
Did you watch it? I watched it.
I didn't.
I watched it.
Yeah, was it good?
Pettis looked pretty good.
Okay.
I don't really like seeing 52-year-olds fight. You know what I mean? And he almost. There was a few. He was saving his tricks till the end, and he almost clipped Pettis good. He almost did. He was saving those tricks till he had to pull him out. It's the legs. When it comes to these old guys, it's the legs.
Who was that?
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones
versus
Jr.?
Anthony Pettis. Yeah.
Was Vitor on that same card?
Vitor versus Jacare.
Okay.
And I think Vitor won with a TKO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is back on that TRT, right?
Oh yeah. I think it's higher than TRT levels.
Yeah. It's a little weird to have these like you said, 50-year-old dudes fighting. Also, did Gamebred? They're wearing gloves in that, right? It's just boxing.
Yeah, that was boxing, but he has
a bare knuckle.
He has a bare knuckle
right?
MMA. Bare knuckle MMA league too. I think Gamebred fights just has different combat sports underneath it. Yeah.
I think that the bare knuckle fights for him is perfect.
The way to go.
That's. I think that if he pushes that, it'll outsell the actual BKFC.
I can see that. But it's not bare knuckle boxing, it's bare knuckle MMA, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, BKFC is too, right?
I think that's just boxing only.
Boxing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is the way to go for him because of his background.
I can see some advantages of it too. You don't have the gloves, your grappling could be your grips are more accessible at least.
Also, people got to pull them punches so they don't break their hands.
Yeah, you can't just land like you got a cast on your hand. Yeah.
You can headbutt somebody's fist.
Yeah, no shit.
Completely change the.
When you watch the bare knuckle, they have to be very precise with how they land, right?
Yeah,
because you're gonna hurt your hand. Those people aren't going for the head; they're just going for soft parts of the flesh.
Cheeks and
One
stuff.
Good jab is a big difference.
Yeah, I've seen people talk about that's why those old timey fighters do the fights like that. And the bare knuckles, there's a lot more body shots because you
it's
can
softer
hit the
to
body
hit
without breaking your hand.
Even hit the body wrong. Ouch.
Yeah, right. You hit that hip bone or a elbow or something. Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see more feet broken on people's elbows.
Feet, yeah, I think they just poker face it till later.
Yeah, right.
They just got the adrenaline at the end of the fight, then they're limping.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do hope that Gamebred's bare knuckle stuff goes more.
Yeah, he's doing well. He was halfway checked out.
Yeah,
it seemed like
Yeah, I think so. I think he just wanted that
Miami show.
Yeah, I think he wanted that, and the fight before the Covington one, he just wanted to settle that beef.
Yeah.
So it's kind of disappointing that he's going out on 4 losses now.
Yeah, no shit, huh?
But that's the way it goes in MMA, right?
At least he got his shine.
Nobody goes out on a win.
Not often.
Yeah. So that's the end of the episode. Give a quick shout out.
John One Productions. It's my boy's art page. And right now he's in the running for some art competition at Coachella. And I guess he made it to the next phase and he's still in. I don't know when they announced the winner this week, but he's doing really well.
That's awesome.
That's John One Productions on IG. What else we got? And then just all the usual.
Yeah. 10th Planet, Project Mayhem.
10th Planet LB, maybe another 4 weeks, maybe, I'm guessing.
Okay.
I've been working there on the weekends, putting up drywall, doing our thing. Probably 4 weeks away from being open, maybe less.
Right on. I'm going to give a quick shout out to MatFit.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday morning workouts.
And you're in the 562 area.
Yeah, come down to Bellflower.
It's free till June, for Saturdays at least.
Yeah, cool. All right, and that is going to be it. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Peace.
Thank you for sitting down with me.
Anytime.
Woo. Have a good night, everybody.
I'm feeling blessed. Tell me, how are you? Just let me know if there's anything that I could do. Yeah, I'm feeling blessed. Tell me, how are you? Ain't nobody change the world like them servants do.